Hey folks, sorry about all the sunshine. It might get a little bit bright behind me, but it's nice when the sun is shining when you're used to a little bit of rain. It's nice to know that you can go out and just enjoy that beauty, the warmth, that it's not winter in Wisconsin. I want to share with you a story that I know you know, but it's one that comes to me often and makes me wonder how I do my ministry with you and together, and how we go forward and how we do things. So this is from 1 Kings chapter 19. This is about Elijah. I'll tell you later about one of my favorite stories from Elisha. But we read, Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done and how he'd killed the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, So may the gods do to me and more also, if I do not take your life like the life of one of them by this time tomorrow. Elijah was then afraid, and he got up and fled for his life. And he came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and he left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under the solitary broom tree. He asked that he might die. He said, It is enough. Now, O Lord, take my life away from me. I am no better than my ancestors. And he lay down under the broom tree and fell asleep. Suddenly an angel of the Lord touched him and said to him, Get up and eat. He looked there, and at his head was a cake baked on hot stones in a jar of water. He ate and drank and lay down again. The angel of the Lord came to him a second time and touched him and said, Get up and eat, otherwise the journey will be too much for you. He got up and ate and drank, and he went with the strength of food for 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, to the mount of God. And at that place he came to a cave, and he spent the night there. Then the word of the Lord came to him. What are you doing here, Elijah? And he answered, I have been very zealous for the Lord, the God of hosts. For the Israelites have forsaken your covenant and thrown down your altars, killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they are seeking my life to take it away. The angel said to him, Go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Now there was a great wind, so strong that it was splitting mountains and breaking rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after that, the sound of sheer silence. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. There came to him a voice that said, What are you doing here, Elijah? He answered, I have been very zealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the Israelites have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they are seeking to take my life away. Then the Lord said to him, Go and return on the way to the wilderness to Damascus, and when you arrive, you shall anoint Hazael as king over Aram. You shall anoint Jehu of Nimshi over the king of Israel, and you anoint Elisha, the son of Shaphat of Elamah, as the prophet in your place. Elisha gets up in front of God and says, I've done everything you've asked me. Why are you doing this to me? And God's response to Elisha is, I'm not done with you yet. You have work to do. This is not the end of your story. Sometimes I wonder if we spend more time talking than listening, if we spend more time taking in all those voices that surround us instead of listening to that small, still voice of God. I hope as we work toward coming up with solutions to becoming a community that is not physically distanced with one another again, that you'll listen to that still small voice, that you'll give time and space and respond not from your gut, but respond from your heart. We'll talk soon. We'll see you then, friends.